Let's begin our lesson. Today's topic, etymological survey of the English word stock. I am Farmanov Gairat, Termen State University. Topics for discussion. Etymological overview of the English word stock. The characteristics of the native vocabulary, units and their derivational potential. Criteria of borrowings in English and their peculiarities. Assimilation of borrowings, phonetic, lexical, and grammatical adaptation. Influence of borrowings on the language development. English as a global language. Etymologically, the vocabulary consists of two words, native and borrowed words. Native words, the words of the Anglo-Saxon origin brought to the British Isles from the continent in the 5th century by the Germanic tribes. Borrowed words are the words adopted from the other languages. Native words. Most of the native words in the course of time change their semantic structure and are now polysemantic. Finger, hand, man, etc. Most words of native origin make up large clusters of derived and compound words. Because most Anglo-Saxon words are root words, such native affixes as ness, ish, it, an, mis are widely used to build numerous new words, and some of them have changed their colloquiality or have become polysemantic. The agent forming suffix "er" now it's added not only to noun stems as before, but to verb stems too, and it has come to form also names of instruments. Borrowings enter the language in two ways: through oral speech, by immediate contact between the peoples. Words borrowed orally, for example, Latin inch, mil, thread, are usually short and they undergo considerable changes in the act of adaptation. Through the written speech, by indirect contact through books, etc., written borrowings, French communique, les restes, naivety preserve, their spelling and some peculiarities of their sound form, their assimilation is too long and difficult process. The problem of assimilation of borrowed words, assimilation, phonetic, grammatical, lexical, phonetic assimilation of borrowed words. Some French borrowings have retained their stress on the last syllable. For example, police, cartoon. Some French borrowings retain special combination of sounds. For example, as in the words camouflage, bourgeois. Some of them retain the combination of sounds, wa, in the words, for example, miroir, boulevard. Grammatical assimilation of borrowed words. If a borrowed words loses its former grammatical categories and inflections and gets new grammatical categories and paradigms. By analogy with other English words, we say the word is undergone grammatical assimilation. Sometimes the foreign inflections are fallen off. For example, Sputnik, Sputnik is Sputnik. Lexical assimilation of borrowed words. Lexical assimilation includes changes in semantic structure and the formation of derivatives. Pain, French, pain, painful, painless. Polysemantic words are usually adopted only in one or two of their meanings. Spanish, cargo, only in the meaning the goods carried in a ship. Cask, only in the meaning a barrel for holding liquids. The degrees of assimilation. First, completely assimilated borrowed words, cheese, street, wall, or wine. Second, partially assimilated borrowed words, bouquet, brochure, pillow sherbet. Third, unassimilated borrowed words or barbarism. Italian, ciao, goodbye. French, capodoir. Influence of borrowing. The first effect of foreign influence is observed in the volume of its vocabulary. But not only was the quantity of the words changed. Changes in this lexical system bring about semantic and stylistic changes in the words of this language and changes in its synonymic groups. For example, meet, encounter, folk, people, and finish, complete stylistic definition, deer, animal, animal. Influence of borrowing. Borrowing influenced on the morphological structure of words in English. Some borrowed affixes became highly productive and combined with native and borrowed items. For example, able, re, inter, ism, etc. Some borrowed affixes replaced the native ones. For example, the prefix pre, expressing priority of action, has replaced the native prefix for, which was highly productive in Middle English and New English, especially in the 16th, 17th century. International words. Words which are borrowed into several languages simultaneously or successively are called international. They can have different meanings in different languages. For example, adventure, aventura. Besides native and borrowed words, we can distinguish in the vocabulary. A. English international words, cosmos, Sputnik, socialism, music. B. Neologisms, A-bomb, Robert, Cold War. C. Absolute words, historism, dropped words, replaced by new words. The usage of words is restricted by scientific usage. Warrior, wine, spear, career. And I ask you, pay attention. Influence of borrowing once more. Borrowing influenced on the morphological structure of words in English. Some borrowed affixes became highly productive and can be combined with native and borrowed items. For example, able, re, inter, er, ism, etc. Some borrowed affixes replaced the native ones. For example, the prefix pre expressing priority of action has replaced the native prefix for, which was highly productive in Middle English and New English, especially in the 16th, 17th century. And influence of borrowings, it is important. It is interesting information. The first effect of foreign influence is observed in the volume of its vocabulary, but not only was the quantity of the words exchanged. Changes in the lexical system bring about semantic and stylistic changes in the words of this language and changes in its synonymic groups. For example, meet, encounter, for, people, and finish, complete, stylistic definition. Dear animal, animal. The degrees of assimilation. First, completely assimilated borrowed words, cheese, street, wall, or wine. Second, partially assimilated borrowed words, bouquet, brochure, pillow, sherbet. Third, unassimilated borrowed words or barbarism, Italian, ciao, goodbye, French, capodoir. Lexical assimilation of borrowed words. Lexical assimilation includes changes in semantic structure and the formation of derivatives. Pain, French, pain, painful, painless. Polysemantic words are usually adopted only in one or two of their meanings. Spanish, cargo, only in the meaning the goods carried in a ship. Second, cask, only in the meaning a barrel for holding liquids, machonic. Grammatical assimilation of borrowed words. If a borrowed word loses its former grammatical categories and inflections and gets new grammatical categories and paradigms by analogy with other English words, we say the word is undergone grammatical assimilation. Sometimes the foreign inflections are fallen off. For example, Sputnik, Sputnik is Sputnik. Today's lesson is over. Goodbye. See you next lesson. Thank you for your attention.